Hello, hello, my friends. And after a tumultuous battle with an ISP, we are here.
Do you feel victorious, Will?
I feel vindicated.
Yay!
Do you
Catharsis!
feel vindicated?
I feel vindicated.
That's not a word.
Um,
I agree with Chad.
but yes, tonight my friends are here for the Astral Calling. I am thrilled to be able to play some D&D with my friends. I have been looking forward to this. But before we get started, announcements. Many other shows here on the channel. Tomorrow night, the Tabletop Bros do something. What it will be, I do not know. Am I buying us all a board game to play? Probably. We're going to do that tomorrow for fun. Oh, I didn't bring the physical books in with me, but Chad, I bought physical copies of Fabula Ultima.
Oh, did you
Nice.
get
I
them
have
at the
to check.
convention?
Yes.
I think they have one of the new.
You'll have to
I
show
have
me
to
where you
check
got
to see
those.
what modules they have out now.
I will, because I'm going to go and buy the rest of the books tomorrow, probably.
Cool.
But other TTRPGs aside, other announcements. Sunday, Cozy Co-op is not happening. It's just me. It's just Will. Sprout stream, Final Fantasy 14. Come and hang out with me as I do more Stormblood's MSQ and finish the second part of that, probably. Or else, if Matt's bored and doesn't want to be on stream but wants to run dungeons, I'm down to do that too.
It will entirely depend on how much work I get done on my Christmas card.
That is valid.
Can't wait to get another Christmas card.
Christmas cards?
Christmas card.
I mean, I did go and buy a whole bunch of Canadian goodies for certain people today. Certain people being a good chunk of you.
Oh, Canadian goodies.
No, Chad, you're just getting probably a Steam gift card because you play so many damn games.
But yeah, so we're doing that. Monday, Strength of Thousands AP. Tuesday, something with Data and Matt, or Data and Will, or Matt and Will. Who knows? That's kind of just like a casual Tuesday stream. Wednesday, we're back for Wild Ambition. With Twitty and with Darla, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe this time I'll be lucky. And then, of course, on Fridays, the Astral Calling show you're watching right now. Why are you watching the show? Well, I personally think it's because of the amazing cast that we have. Starting off with the person who most represents the joy of the world. We have Rose playing Luna.
What?
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, that was sweet.
And now to go to a whole nother direction, your spooky October question.
Yes, give
Yes.
it to me.
So, if you had to choose to become some sort of lycanthrope monster, what lycanthrope monster would you be?
Rather.
Yes, like a were something or other. Were bunny?
Bear bunny.
Were rabbit, fair enough.
Follow-up
Bear
question.
bunny.
Bear bunny.
Would you
Yeah.
turn into a human-sized rabbit, or would you turn into like somewhere in between?
Oh, the only time I've ever actually seen this happen was in a fighting game that I rented from fucking Blockbuster back when that was a thing. Primal
Are you talking about
Roar,
Bloody
Primal
Roar?
Oh.
something. Bloody
I
Roar,
love
Primal
Bloody Roar.
Fury for the fucking GameCube. And there was a character
Yeah.
named Alice
Yeah.
who would like turn into a rabbit and beat the shit out of people. I guess I might lose a little height, but just from like the stance, the way like rabbit legs work.
Oh wow, I'm
But,
looking at that.
Yeah.
It
It's
also
so much
just
Bloody Roar.
Look at
Thank
those
reminds
legs.
me-
God for pulling out the tests of my mind.
it reminds me of Wallace and Gromit. Just the image of a were rabbit. Just that one special.
Yeah. Speaking of rabbits, someone who is going to be very angry whenever I use the rabbit cards in Lorcana because they do mill, we have Matt playing Darius tonight.
Well, I won't be angry. I'll just be
Be
disappointed. Yes, hello everyone. I'm playing Darius. Tonight, the wonderful fortune, or I will see. Um, and in terms of my lycanthropy kind of thing, well, I do like the traditional werewolf kind of thing. I'm actually going to go with a crow.
You know, I could see that being to your liking.
1 million
Against all
years
of
from.
this. Against all of this.
Though, if anyone has ever seen the Crow Mauler from the video game Fear and Hunger, that's what I keep thinking about when I think of a crow lycanthrope.
Fair enough. Speaking of Fear and Hunger, someone who I could see having opinions about that game, Chad,
I
playing
don't know what this
Vim.
game is. I don't know
Oh,
what this game is.
I.
Fear and Hunger.
That's surprising.
Fear and Hunger.
Oh,
Fear and Hunger, it's
yeah,
called.
that's what I said.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you said Stephen Hunger.
Yeah, Stephen Hunger.
That's something else? I don't know. Wow.
Garnet, Amethyst, and Pearl, and Stephen Hunger.
Yes, we gotta make some
Anyway.
together breakfast.
Yep.
Cookie Cat. He left his family behind.
Listen, I stumbled upon the Cookie Cat truck, like food truck, outside of work one day back when I was working in Santa Monica, and they gave
I'm
me
sorry,
free
there's a
fucking
Cookie Cat food
There
truck.
was when the first Steven Universe album was coming out, and they had a Cartoon Network had a Cookie Cat food truck. Like they gave me a free Cookie Cat ice cream. It was delicious. It was strawberry
God.
flavored
That's
with
very
the
gross.
chocolate cookie, and it was so good. They were so nice.
I would
I
kill for
want
some
it
ice
so
cream right
bad.
now.
All right. But yeah, so that's Chad, probably looking up Fear and Hunger. Chad, what type of lycanthrope are you?
I'm lost in my nostalgia bloody roar.
Right?
Like rabbit hole I've now been thrown down, and it just reminded me that like by partway through the series they kind of gave up on coming up with new characters with actual like beast forms and just have a lady who gets her beast form, gives her like a robot arm, and like her leg kind of lazily partially turns into metal plates,
Goodness.
and it's like
They went the way of Digimon.
it's like this series only had like maybe 30 characters max, and some of those have the same animal. You couldn't have come up with any more.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. All right, well then, moving right along, in search of good times and good news, with good friends like Maya playing Rash, you cannot lose. How are you doing tonight, Maya?
Hello, everybody. As I take a giant bite of spring roll. Hi, everybody. I'm Maya. I'm playing your resident goblin granny, barbarian, Rash Rogloth. I'm like, is she still a barbarian? I don't know.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a god to worship. But she's still raging. Lycanthropy.
Yep.
Well, if we're going like traditional idea of lycanthropy and not just I'm a shapeshifter, because if it's just I'm a shapeshifter, I would go like absolutely a bird of prey, 100%. I'd probably go like a peregrine falcon,
Okay.
so probably that kind of vibe.
What if it's more on the animorph scale?
But if we're going on like a lycanthropy, like this is an infection and I have to deal with it sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of being somewhat amphibious. Being like a gecko or something.
Mm-hmm.
You could save 15% or more on car insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm a weregecko.
Weregecko. Oh, I'm surprised it's not a Geico ad. But speaking of ads, someone who can really add up to a really good time, McKenna playing Evie.
We got there eventually.
Listen.
Yeah. Well, you got to me, and I am playing Experiment 3 version 13, also occasionally known as Evie, our plasmoid artificer. I'm also occasionally known as McKenna Ray Art on the socials. Tonight, I'm making fun of Matthew. Go watch me make fun of Matthew. It's funny.
Ooh. It's not me for once.
Usually not.
I have been slandered unawares.
I don't know. I think the one on Wednesday kind of hurt.
Thank you, so you shouldn't have been that unaware.
The Wednesday one hurt a little bit.
The Wednesday one was planned in advance, and the fact that it happened the way it did was not intentional.
Now I'm so curious
it
as
is
to what
not
happened
the first
Wednesday.
time I have made a TikTok joking about sessions being canceled, and then the session gets canceled last minute. The fact that it's not the first TikTok I've made of that, and also not the first time that it's happened, says something about how often I make TikToks joking about sessions being canceled last minute. But it's a joke that typically hits solidly for a reason.
Yep. Speaking of jokes that'll hit solidly for a reason, chat. If the stream does go down tonight, which it could very well, we don't know what will happen. We'll figure it out. We'll bear with us and just keep an eye on Discord for any updates. But last but not least, hello, my name is Will, also known as Tabletop Roles on the internet, and I would like to be, if I had to be a were creature, I would like to be a were frog.
Shocking nobody.
Or a
I
were.
think I was gonna be.
Oh, sorry, McKenna, I forgot that.
That's
I'm
okay,
an idiot.
I forgot too. You're not an idiot. I
Wow.
forgot.
Oh, or a were rhino.
I do think a werewolf would be funny because it's fun to say. Werewolf.
Farewell.
But if you can't control it, you're just gonna you're gonna end up a beached whale.
No, okay, now this is where
I
we.
thought
This is
the
where
red
we.
would come with the moon, right?
This is where we. What's the word? Oh God, I can't remember the word. Word that means like go the other way for the joke.
Departure.
Take a left turn.
Yeah, it's like
Oh.
the unexpected version of the way for the joke to end, where like McKenna says they be a werewhale, and then suddenly every single 5-star on their Genshin account is C6 with R5 weapons.
Oh, I see.
Sure.
What?
Because every full spends ungodly amounts of money on gacha.
Oh. Well.
I can just live vicariously through Rose for that.
McKenna's got some zingers tonight.
Yeah. But yes.
I think ironically I wear shark, assuming that I can like time it.
Well, hold on. Are you getting a hybrid form? Are you becoming a street shark?
That would be dope.
In Junji Ito style, like.
Oh God.
No, I'm now just thinking about.
That'd be a street shark. That'd be dope.
I'm now
Thinking about Nimona, where she's just half shark on top and just legs.
Yeah.
I'm
That was a
thinking
good
about
movie.
Chad's. I'm thinking about Chad's first D&D character.
Oh yes,
Oh,
he was a
yeah.
were-shark.
He was a were-shark,
I remember
who was
that
a very accomplished sailor.
Somehow,
guy. Somehow.
without formal training.
Yep, we got there. But my friends, with that, it's time for us to roll the intro, and then we will get into this game for this evening.
Hit that button.
Get through to you.
No, I just
No.
mean like.
But last time, on the Astral Calling, our party made their way into space, into the Astral Sea, in order to deal with a curtain of darkness and to save some friends who were being held by the forces of the Calistigian Order. Upon reaching the curtain of darkness, they realized that it was some sort of jello-y texture, and they weren't able to move their ship through it. After the first divine intervention roll on this channel was successful, a 9% chance, Darius received a spark of inspiration from the spark of creation, which in this situation did become a purple dragon for a second. But that was 100% for Rosalie, and I don't think Rosalie got that.
I just heard. Oh,
Wait,
wait. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, right.
I miss Figment.
is Darius the
Like I heard what you said, but then yes, that's very cute actually.
is Darius the Spark's favorite princess, or what was it they called her all the time?
Yes, God's
God's
favorite
favorite
princess.
princess.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, Darius is God's favorite princess.
Darius is God's favorite princess. But
I can't. Yeah, my fingers won't. It's
Okay,
No.
peace sign. Turn it. Bend. Together. You did it!
It's kind of a trick of the light, though. Because
Chad, you have to do it too.
Yeah, Chad.
What are we doing? Well, like, or not what are we doing?
fingers.
Why are we doing?
it's all love now. It's all love now.
Heart fingers.
I kind of want to be just because.
What else?
You
is
kind
new?
of want to, or that is your default state.
Well, that's fair.
You
That's
say that
fair.
like that's a departure from what your norm is. Just this once, I think I'm gonna be a contrarian.
As a treat, I'm going to be a contrarian just on this.
McKenna
It feels
is,
like a lot of times you
aggro
treat yourself, Chad.
yeah.
Who's
That's a
going to
treat.
stop me?
Spent most of my day to day with. I'll tell you who
Yes.
later, but it honed my
Bloodthirsty.
blades.
Hilarious.
Anyway, this is the classic.
Yeah, I do the classic.
I have grown
Um,
a spot for this one.
On a related
one,
note,
Maya.
McKenna sent me magic
like
art
the
that she
Asian
approved
one.
of for the first time today, and that made
They
me
made
happy.
Don't hate my
overlay
culture.
cards for Magic the Gathering, which was fucking
little
sick.
hatred.
Yeah,
Oh,
the scalpers are selling them for an ungodly fucking amount of money.
I get
I
what
don't
Maya's
care about
doing
that.
now,
I
but
saw
I'm
them
used
on
to
the
people
internet.
doing basically that and talking about money. So that's what was messing me up when Maya was doing with just her fingers.
All right, but
If this is money, this is a heart.
divine
I get
Yeah,
that
if you just
now.
like you slide your fingers just a little bit apart,
Yeah.
and then it makes the little V for the heart.
I get that. Just when she first did it, I'm like, what are we talking?
okay, but divine intervention,
Yeah.
Happened.
Yes.
spark of creation,
Yeah.
one little spark, can light
All you
Darius's fancy. And suddenly, they had a machine that would allow their ship to pierce the veil of darkness. After Evie MacGyvered it together. Good job, Evie.
No matter the darkness,
They
a
are
single
part
spark can push back.
Annihilation.
As the party entered the darkness with Captain Cypress at the helm of the ship, another ship came into view. To be specific, Captain Cypress's old ship. And it pointed its weapons at our party. And as that astral combat begins, we pull away to another part of the astral sea. To a very clean-looking room. It looks to be some sort of extra-dimensional space. Where sitting at a table, the first to arrive as they sort of act as the focus point for these meetings. Matt, why don't you describe what the person that you're playing as tonight looks like?
So, first thing you'd probably see is big, furry kind of like mantle of a cloak. It's all very Final Fantasy-esque. It's got lots of belts and buckles.
So
And
many
it's all very
belts.
black. But
That
Being
a big furry.
it's a very diminutive figure because she's very old and hunched over and has a constant frown on her face and giant Coke bottle glasses. She's got a cane, which may or may not be concealing some sort of sword or something. And she's got a little tea set here, and she's just constantly and she's got dusky purple skin and little horns and almost kind of like elf-like, but almost kind of like like deer-like ears. This is Ko, the a Hexblade warlock from the previous campaign, who has been existing in sort of a in-between space between any sort of afterlife and the mortal plane after a long life of leading an order of demon hunting warriors. Um, and now she's just, yeah.
With one slight
Peaceful
addendum
speech.
to Matthew's description.
Yes.
Above Ko is what appears to be a halo.
What the fuck is that?
Just
Oh,
like
yeah.
a glowing halo, and it's just there.
Confusing because it's got like horns and a halo. A lot of someone's OC. I'm a half celestial, half demon.
Oh,
Do
Matt,
not steal.
Matt,
Don't
you're
call
Matt,
like
you're,
middle school me out like that.
You're
Fuck
getting
And
really
my
off,
sword, the
Matt.
God Slayer.
as long as you don't have opalescent hair and opalescent eyes, you're fine.
And heterochromia.
Why do you
Oh,
all hate
jeez.
middle school me?
Oh,
She did
One
nothing to
angel
you.
wing and one demon wing.
Stop!
I think we just described Rose's Gaia Online character.
Fuck
The
all
guy
of you.
on.
You know how much I prayed for the fucking
And-
batwing bow so I
and-
could put it on my back.
And honestly, Emily's too, probably.
No shade to anyone who does like these kind of characters. It's just a fun archetype that's very nostalgic for a lot of
It's-
people.
Yes.
Formative rite of passage for so
Yes.
many young people.
my version of this archetype is making jokes at people's names ending in XXX_Sephiroth.
Oh yes.
Well, speaking of Sephiroth, someone who's often very punctual, the next most punctual person of that old party, Chad, in a way that won't, you know,
I've lived through him. You can just describe him.
Chad, if you would like, you can describe your character you will be doing tonight, now as a god, basically.
Okay, so I have a question
Yeah,
real quick.
real quick.
Beyond like vague implication last week,
hmm
was this established this was happening?
No, this is a
Okay,
surprise.
good. I'm glad that
I
I
love
just
surprises.
I'm just glad that
Cute.
I wasn't like, oh, I missed the meeting.
I was going to have a short chat with Maya beforehand, but then we were so late, so I'm just kind of throwing Maya into the deep end.
Nah, I'm good.
I'm so
Rash
sorry.
would know these people anyway.
So
I mean,
Zolom
Grandma Club.
That's Grandma Club. Everybody's part of the Grandma Club.
Mhm.
is probably like significantly larger than he was. Mechanically, we will argue he's really just the order of being a large creature or whatever the next step up would be. In his advanced age and through his time mostly, like he's saying in his domain as a relatively young god, as we kind of established that kind of thing was. And given his domain, I imagine that there's almost the start of kind of like moss and some plant growth along his body is just kind of starting to come up over time because there's a lot of time just spent still and delegating in this kind of existence for him. Still like probably, I don't know, with the defined parts probably not too faded, but a little bit faded of the yellows and greens of his scales. But still, his armor is still there. He doesn't necessarily, I mean, obviously he's blind, so he's not particularly worried about the aesthetics of it, so he doesn't really put in effort to make anything look shiny and new, so probably more like that everything he wears and carries has been used.
And I will say that these are the sort of avatar forms that you're characters at this point. It's sort of what they do when they need to interact with each other with mortals. The regular versions of them are much more large scale. In Zolam's case, whenever Zolam molts, as snakes often do, their followers often turn the molts of Zolam into ships, and like into full astral ships.
You cool with that, Zolam?
You know, it's kind of not necessary anymore. Do something with it, I guess. Like,
It's
whatever.
recycling.
Yeah, it's, you know. I think
mean,
it could have
it's,
gone way. Oh, there could have been way worse uses for it. I'm sure.
it's nice you pass things down, I suppose.
There's
The
something that I'm waiting to happen at some point this session with Ko, and I'm mostly counting on McKenna to do it, but I'm waiting.
Oh, waiting for
The-
something to happen with Ko.
I
That's
will make a
new.
comment when it happens.
the next most punctual person of that previous party. Ooh, say that one 10 times fast.
Punctual person in the previous party was punctual person in the previous party.
Would be Adenia. Rose?
Yeah. Describe her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I like to think that Adenia would like she's defiant. She doesn't have to age. So she's like eternally in her. But I imagine okay, so I guess if you didn't see her before, she's got like brown skin with violet eyes and hair, which I think now would be done in several like long braids with different metal accessories like throughout them that have been created by Amerlin over the years for her. And she's like got her like floating set of tarot cards and she's just like ripping them out of the air, doing readings, flicking them back, just trying to keep up with fate as it happens in important places.
Speaking of Amerlin, Amerlin is also there.
Aw.
They have retained. They're in the form because they felt most comfortable. They appear as about 60 years old, human years. Nice silver hair. And you know he looks like he's lived a good life. And above Amerlin's head, of
There's
course.
a
Roger's
joke
like
here
5
for
feet
Calder
now.
to make about silver foxes, but I'm not in
And
agreement.
there is, of course, above Amerlin's head, a little halo.
Aw.
Did Raja make it? Is Raja still? Did Raja gain any divinity?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Raja's with you.
Okay,
You're good. Yeah.
delightful.
Yeah. You keep your
Raja's a little mouse, my little animal companion.
Yeah.
Oh, we're
For
just handing it
Maya's
out like
sake.
crumpets now, I see.
The next person to arrive is someone that none of you are familiar with out of character, but in character is someone that has been meeting with you all relatively frequently as well. They're also a relatively younger god. A new member of this sort of pantheon, a god of games. That had the spark
That's sus.
that had a spark of divinity passed down to them. Maya, I now give you full reins to create the god of games in this universe.
It's time.
So the god of games. I feel like for games,
Games strategy.
they're definitely a fae. So I want to say they're like a little fairy,
Okay.
a little fae. Definitely non-binary, little non-binary fae. And I want to say they kind of have a whole like childlike empress thing going where you don't really know what age this person is. They've got an impish young vibe, but they also have this like, oh, you know too much and it's not good. Also look. Very puckish.
Very puckish.
This is good. Vim's gonna need fairy solidarity,
name.
fae solidarity in his godhood.
They solidarity.
And last but not least, the latest to the party, as always, Finnegan Calder. comes.
Finnegan Calder kicks the door open.
Holy shit, guys.
Yes, who's
and,
here?
like stomps into the room, very angry. For those who were not here for the last campaign, Finnegan Calder is a shifter, a fox shifter specifically. She has a little fox here and a long ponytail of like deep red hair, freckly face. Very relaxed clothing for someone who is ostensibly a god. She doesn't really look all that much different from when she did when she ascended, and she's got a bow slung over her back and is mostly barefoot. For those of you who don't know what shifters do, when she shifts and does it becomes more animalistic, her legs become digitigrade, and she gets real fast. And she's almost there. Almost in a way that a barbarian would rage. She looks a little bit more animalistic than she would at her most neutral. Why are we here?
Amerlin hypes up. Well, I mean, it is the, yearly, well, not yearly, but sort of century annual meeting.
Do you not think I have better things to do right now, Amerlin? Respectfully.
I feel
kind of in a
You
crisis
are
at the moment.
exactly where you are meant to be.
Oh my fucking god, Adenia. I love you so much, but you have to cut that shit with me.
Now, everyone, we should be respectful of how she feels. I mean, remember how important it was when she got involved in all those other previous universe incidents. Remind me how that went. Oh, wait.
Great,
Yes.
actually.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm sure you were very involved.
Could this be like one of those crystal
no.
messages?
I don't know how to use those things.
Oh, please.
Well,
Come on,
simple.
man.
You can play a lot of games on them.
Oh no, I leave the playing of games to my friends.
Suit yourself.
Do you not consider this little thing that we do once every century to be a game of some sort?
I mean, in
Don't
terms
worry about
of
it. I don't have the
winners
fucking
and
time for it.
losers, perhaps.
There's
Yeah.
no
winners.
world in which you are not having fun with this.
Oh,
Oh, nonsense. You're never too old for fun.
Amerlin, why are we here?
Well, I mean, so in addition to, the usual sanctuary meeting, there has been a number of things going on in the universe that demand our attention, and I felt it prudent that we perhaps all meet up as you all are, divine creatures and divine gods and and I felt like it would be important for us to possibly strategize as to how we are going to be mobilizing, perhaps together. I know you do have a small cult that follows you now.
Oh, they're good boys and girls and days. I'm not up on all the latest lingo. Someone will have to teach me. I want to get it right.
And I felt it pertinent to perhaps collate information together, collect what we have. Thankfully, I have eyes on the front line, so to speak, through one of our followers of the Spark of Creation. They are quite devout in their prayers, so it is quite often that we get to check in with them. So perhaps a short recap and then some strategical talk to speak about how we may band together to deal with this oncoming threat.
I'll shoot it.
I mean, Magubliet tried to, and look what happened to them.
I can do it from further away than he can. Good. Respectfully.
Well, let's try some strategy then. And this character who I decided his name is Artie.
Artie.
Yeah, let's go with Artie. Artie feels right.
Artie feels right.
Artie is gonna magically whip out essentially like a battle map kind of vibe, but it very much has the feel of like Risk battle map.
Nice.
And like starts moving bits and bobs and like sort of like arcane symbols and pieces around.
Well, whilst RT is getting set up, allow me to fill perhaps, and they'll point towards Zolam and Co. The rest of you, and Adenia as well, into as what the information that my people have collected. Specifically about a particularly important group of adventurers. It seems as though we may have some heroes that we can rely on to aid us in this endeavor. So I think following their story will probably be the easiest way to get everyone up to speed. So, it all began recently, sort of the inciting incident of sorts was when this small group of adventurers, consisting of a plasmoid, a
Are we
goblin.
doing a recap episode?
Not a recap. Previously on the Astral Calling.
It's like
We're gonna
the
go all the way back to episode 1.
it's like the first. It's like the end of the. It's like the beginning of the second season. This is the start of the second season.
We need like a cute little clipped tune to play along with as a score. God.
But after a particular party of adventurers found themselves on a astral ship known as the Sunseeker, oddly enough, a similar name to the ship that you all first met on.
So it is.
They were part of a very unfortunate incident where a draconic creature, a black dragon disguised as a merchant, poisoned many members of the ship. But thankfully, with the help of one of the crew members, our party was able to escape. After they escaped, they landed with a couple of allies on a planet that was being overtaken by plants. After escaping that planet, they discovered the Calistesian Order in mass, working behind the scenes at a Elven academy that one of the people that was stranded with them asked to be returned to. After the incident there, they were told about a bounty on their heads. Trying to deal with that, they moved their way towards the Marred Poppy system, where they met with the owner of that area of space, Helios.
Alder
After
gets up and starts pacing back and forth like an angry caged animal.
While this whole talk is going on, Artie is switching different things on the map to align with the story.
Zolam does not need to be within 10 feet of Calder to know that it's Calder pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing as Calder starts pacing, there's just like the slight, like, Amerlin just kind of like slightly reaches their hand onto Adenia's shoulder as if like a sign of like just like a grounding themselves, a support. And after completing a job for them, they went and sought out a crew of a missing ship, where they were promptly pulled into another plane of existence. Whilst there, the follower of the Spark found one of our other followers, Nito, who originated from that universe, oddly enough. After escaping the universe where plants had consumed everything, our party, as well as one of their two of their multiversal counterparts, technically, made it back with them in the form of Nito and what they are calling EVB, but I believe Calder will probably have a much more colorful name for them. Looks like Calder.
Bitch.
There we go.
That's what
Wow.
B stands for.
Now we have company.
That's
And-
never stopped.
Okay, and you're
That's never
excused.
stopped
What do you want
anything.
from me? Calder
He
is now
erases
dragging-
EVB to
I just
rewrite
thought-
EV bitch.
I just thought there was, with divine entities, there was to be a little decorum.
Whatever is non-essential in this room, Calder starts dragging things into a corner to start like amalgamating some manner of like target for target.
When Amerlin creates the space, because they are the one who creates the space, they do make what they call the Calder fidget corner, which is just a whole bunch of shit for Calder to destroy.
Good.
It's not called the Calder fidget corner, but it's just always Strangely
But
enough,
no,
it's
I think
oddly
it
it's
is.
it's always near Calder.
It's just like stuff that like could conceivably just be scrapped from
Yeah.
his own projects.
Yeah.
Recycling.
Precisely.
But after doing so, they moved on to a laboratory in the moon, where Luna, one of the party members, was promptly tricked into a capsule, and had their soul pulled out of them and digitized. The rest of the party not wanting to lose their friend, and Evie feeling particularly bad about my understanding what was supposed to be a first date.
She sounds like a lousy person.
Jumped in to
What
help
kind
them
of
out.
person lets their partner get captured by a fucking Calder's losing it in the corner.
Do you even need to like pull the string now? I mean,
It
Hey.
feels
No.
good. She points it
Oh.
at you for a second. Excuse me.
one of these days you're
You
gonna
see
you're
the
gonna do
same
it.
arrow has been split down the shaft 6 different times.
Game of young love, some different
Well-
side quests are necessary sometimes in order to build that relationship. I'm sure you could understand.
Go look directly at the camera.
Well, moving
Saying,
actually
Amberlyn.
on from there, they headed to the first world, the origin of the Feywild, where one of, and they point towards Artie, your contemporaries, Artie, was causing a little bit of trouble.
Oh,
Yes, the fairy had taken a number of hags and essentially turned them into fairy factories.
oh, I think I have heard of this new guy. He
Yes.
seems fun.
Well, that we're getting there. Luckily, one of the creatures there, Vim, also a godling, much like all of you were at one point, except for Ko.
By
That
choice.
That was
as
in
I-
character.
By choice, as I recall.
Were able to free the Feywild and their homeworld from the control of a certain peaceful peace blossom.
That's
Oh,
a weird
please,
voice,
never
Amberlyn. Don't
do that voice
again.
again.
Sounds horrible.
Never.
Oh no.
Not
Never,
this
ever.
campaign. But after dealing with that, they decided it was finally time to deal with Dr. Toldetio. So, tracking them to another one of their labs, they proceed to face off with the Doctor, where they discovered that apparently, through some work of magic or science or creation, they had implanted a number of control devices into Evie, Vim, and Luna. After facing off with Experiment 3 version 14 and collecting them for their ship, our party then went and dealt with the Astral pirates that had caused them trouble in the beginning. Shortly after that, and adding a new friend to their group, Captain Cypress, they found themselves in hell, quite literally, where, working together, they managed to allow one of the archdevils, sorry, Ko, to ascend to the Hellion throne and become the Queen of Hell, while also protecting one of my followers, and I'm very thankful for that. After that, they joined the Battle of Magubliet. Things did not go well, as we know. And now half of the universe is consumed by darkness, and I believe currently they're attempting to to free some people from capture.
Correct.
Are
Mine-
any of you picking up that portfolio, by the way, with poor Magubliet out of the picture? Someone needs to pick up that.
Not my
I do have
purview.
I do
Ooh.
have a suggestion for that. Assuming, God forbid, you want to pick up
Which
the mantle
god?
of godhood this time.
No,
Sorry.
no, I'm fine.
It's too much fun to complain about it, I think.
I say nothing on that.
Let
Party
it be known
starts.
that this is now the 14th time I've offered you an opportunity for godhood, so I don't want to hear it from you the next time you're complaining about not having a
You
domain of
will.
your own.
You will hear the complaints from Co.
I know.
I think domains are a little overlapping, but I don't think their styles
I mean,
quite
is there a
meshes in
divine
with mine.
domain for critical analysis and oversight? I might enjoy that.
Probably room for one of those out
If you
there.
want to claim it.
Divine domain for pettiness.
I'll put it on my to-do list, and you look over, and suddenly there's a fridge with like a scroll magnet onto it. I've got a list going. It's important to have a list organized.
One of them just says clean limbo.
Yes, that's an ongoing project.
So what? Are we here to find someone to fill the shoes of old goobs, or what?
I mean, that's an option, but I also wanted us to discuss perhaps what we can do about the Calistigian Order, this extra-dimensional threat that seems to have a number of interesting creatures fighting on its
Hostages.
side.
Yes, they seem to be pushing us all towards one end game either way.
Including, and they look towards Denia, now the only one remaining, mind you, alternate versions of yourselves.
Yeah. They got mine. Did they get? Are they got Zolobs too?
These must not have been
They must not have
quite
been
the same.
as good as we are, for
From
sure.
from
for
what I
sure.
can tell, from my observation of the cleric that was aiding in that, and they made some decisions in the fight against Zolam's Harbinger that may be questionable strategically, but I believe that these versions of yourselves are ones that fell to Reskin. They would have been versions of yourselves before you were able to ascend. Ones that fell to darkness.
So like super lame versions of us then.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Well,
You know I don't typically like to intervene.
I do know that, but it seems that fate may need to be nudged.
it
If
feels
it
like a
can.
little game of existence versus non-existence here.
Yeah, I mean, if you want there to be fate at all, Adenia, there sort of has to be a universe for fate to rule over.
And so far, our universes are dwindling drastically.
Mm-hmm.
Pulls up a counter, ticking down.
Is it one of those like flipping card ones?
Uh-huh. Like the Hercules one.
I prefer that to digital.
Adenia reaches into her pack
Mhm.
and pulls out a tapestry and then takes out what appears to be a little sewing tool and begins picking at little threads in this tapestry.
So
No promises.
the relevant details here, obviously they've, I don't know, had runs of good and bad luck, it looks like. Maybe involves themselves alternate versions of themselves that they shouldn't have, and is the mental control thing relevant?
It may not be relevant to all of you, but I felt like it was a important element of the
Right.
ongoing sort of issues that this party I've been observing has been facing.
I suppose I could take a crack at dealing with that.
I have a thought as well. If
Oh,
you
do
might,
you?
I do. I have the occasional one. I don't have the god brains you all do.
Overlapping domains of
I do have a lot
pettiness.
of time to think here, and I have been stewing on this problem specifically regarding the Calistigian Order. Now, if my experience fighting the machinations of devils has taught me one thing, one of the most frustrating things is that these fiendish malefactors always seem to be a couple steps ahead, and that seems to be the problem with our group of daring Calistigian order. They always seem to be chasing the order's tail. Now, I know that, as mentioned previously, there is some reluctance to get directly involved. That's always the thing with gods, because it can get messy, and the other deities can start saying, "Hey, what are you getting involved for?"
Oh, I love getting
But
involved.
The only reason I'm not getting involved is because if I leave my domain properly, the whole thing is gonna fall apart, and I have millions of people relying on me.
well, that I have my own idea for that. So what I'm suggesting then is, because we have a more broad and far-reaching perspective, but we can't, just throw lightning bolts or whatever it is you do, or god arrows. We could ensure that these heroes are perhaps now we can maybe move them a couple steps ahead and try and nudge them so they are in the right place at the right time. It's subtle, but could potentially be quite effective. Put the order on the back foot for once.
Scooch him slightly to the right, you mean?
Yeah, just the right moment. Oh,
I like it. Sounds like a good game of chess.
Skip a stitch or two. Looks over at the weaving going on.
And then I shoot the slimy one.
I mean, if you feel that it's the right time, you do
Now,
it.
is slimy one of the ones they're fighting, or is the slimy one of the ones on their little team?
I think there's both. There's both.
Mm-hmm.
Checking. Oh, the bitch one. Got
They
it.
are both physically slimy. One of them is also emotionally slimy.
Got it.
I suppose if there are any rules that won't be followed, then the one from another reality may lay outside of those rules, so could be fair game.
I mean, they're not supposed to be down there to begin with, so it's not more of anything. It's just setting the board properly. I mean, just as our new friend here, you don't start putting pieces from two different games on the table, now do you? That's chaos. That's not a proper game.
What the
Well,
hell even brought her into this universe anyway?
You
Text
know better
notes.
than I would.
EVB?
Wait, are you asking about
Yeah,
the
the
other
slimy
slime?
one.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you were asking the slimy one or if you're asking
a
about
group-
Artie.
A group of adventurers attempted to save them from a collapsing universe.
Don't they?
Good intentions, bad execution.
Don't they have anyone
happens
in
when you
their
mess with
group
fate.
to stop them from taking in strays?
You would be amazed at the amount of strays that they have taken in.
Fucking heroes. Ugh.
Oh, we were not so different back in the day.
You were not that different back in the day, I'll tell you that much.
Just triplicate. It's a Venn diagram of domains of pettiness.
Amerlin's just looking in the mirror, realizing, oh, I was the stray.
Don't worry. Don't worry.
No.
Oh, also astray.
It hurt itself in its confusion.
That's true. That's true.
What it's worth, Amerlin, I wasn't even talking about taking in the strays and whatnot. I was just talking about heroism in general. That was always Adenia's modus operandi, I suppose.
No one ever said that, righting wrongs and making history was a non-messy affair.
No, they didn't.
You do the best from moment to moment.
In fact, historically, it seems like it's almost required to be messy.
I mean, it does
I
make
would
for a
agree.
better story.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly a more entertaining one. Looks directly at the camera.
So mention fate. We're doing that.
Yeah, so if we're agreeing that we're intervening, then the next step is how?
Well, I believe as the divine beings and co, I'd probably be best for you.
Never gets old.
You know what's funny? I thought it was McKenna that was gonna bully first. That's what I was thinking earlier, that McKenna was gonna but actually Matt invited it before anybody else could say anything.
This is the choice that I made, and I am wallowing in it.
Yeah, Matt
Like a
invited
happy
it
little
before
swine.
anybody could say it. So McKenna got was let off on that one. She did.
I can try to open up the tapestry of fate to leave some holes for opportunity.
Think of a
More
metaphor like.
concrete
I
you
can't-
do.
I have to be careful lest the whole thing unravel,
Of
No, no,
course.
no one wants that.
but
I'm not opposed to sticking my hand and just sticking my hand in that hole of fate and just moving the pieces around just a little bit.
don't play games you can't win.
But that's half the fun.
When the stakes are all or nothing,
See, this is.
one would be wise to consider first. Although I know wisdom is hardly your realm.
Well, didn't
It
Co
just get
just say
colder
that
in
we should
here.
move the Didn't Co say that we should move the pieces around?
I mean, yes, but I'm the only
Delicately.
non-god in the room. You
Well,
don't have
I'm
to
not
listen to
saying
me.
just ham fist it after all. I am a god of games. Games require strategy.
Bathroom,
I mean, except shoots and ladders, it's just dice. Or that capitalism one, that one's just horrible.
If we're not,
Not my favorite.
if we're not stepping in is maybe not necessarily the best way to phrase it directly, then
I mean, I know that
I can
sometimes
see any of us.
guidance, fate or something is delivered in terms of portents and signs or, tea leaves. It's a subtle thing. It's not handing them the answer. It does allow them the chance to, not interpret them properly, but we want them to do so. So we could do with that.
I don't
Maybe
think I
if
don't
we-
think I'm the god for visions.
I think that once again falls under my purview, doesn't it?
Speaking
I-
of
I mean, I don't know. Do you have some extra skin you can leave them?
Adenia,
Sounds like
Yes.
it's useful.
can you roll me 2d6?
I would love nothing more. How about 2 6s?
That
Ooh.
sounds like a strong success. So,
Damn.
Nice.
as
Roast
Adi-
luck. I'm not even
Yeah, it's the roast
surprised
luck.
anymore.
Roast luck.
You got a 5-star too?
2 5 stars. Thank you.
as Adenia is
And the light
weaving
cone.
this tapestry of fate, there is something interesting, Adenia. There is a thread that is on the current weave that has been pulled across the tapestry.
Across.
Yes, it's been pulled across the tapestry. You think of each line of the tapestry as a year. It's been pulled across, like from very far away, and it's currently being weaved into this line.
But it doesn't belong there?
It seems to fit there.
What if I just. And she starts connecting the threads.
Okay, cool.
The
Listen,
DM will remember
If
that.
we're not directly going to show up to preserve our domains, perhaps reaching out with, like I said, I'm definitely not the god for visions, but also if we're going to intervene, I don't think we should flip a coin whether or not they understand what we're getting at. But I suppose as direct as I could get is maybe, I don't know, lending a blessing, a little power or something to help nudge the balance.
What would Chad, you can now roll me 2d6.
Okay. Snake eyes. Once I get it typed in, because Roll20's lagging. 4 and a 6.
That's not bad.
A 10
actually
is
Above average.
what is considered a success for this.
Ooh.
I like that gods are still rolling dice.
Yeah.
Um,
I imagine that Artie has a collection much like IRL McKenna has.
what type of what comes to Zolam's mind when they think of that? When they think of like a blessing to help them?
So Zolam's kind of very focused in like his general capabilities and what be useful going at them. So he would definitely be thinking more directly. So the two things he would mostly be thinking of is either if any type of ailment, affliction, problem of healing that, and or kind of bestowing upon them one of his many capabilities, whether that be like his resistance to magic or anything to bolster their resilience, anything that might protect them in one way or another, whether that's healing them of anything that of something that might ail them or mitigating any incoming danger. The most direct things he would be able to think of without just showing up and leaving the domain at risk.
Yeah. And there is a certain risk to you all leaving domains going forward. There is not much of the astral sea. About half of it has been consumed by darkness. Many of the deities' divine domains that were inside of there still maintain a little bit of their light, but the remaining domains, their existence seems to be what held the darkness at bay at where it is at. If your domains were to fall, I fear that the rest of the universe would be consumed by darkness.
Oh, so probably not walking directly into the situation.
As you all continue your meeting, things eventually turn towards Calder and Artie. Uh, Perhaps the two of you can offer what you may want to do about the Calistigian Order.
I think Artie is looking at the strategy board that she's laid out and all of her little pamphlets of information on everybody and seeing which of this fine group of adventurers she can slip a little bit of her own god like inspiration to. And I think she pulls up what is essentially like a cross between a puzzle board, but like almost in the way that a game of Operation would be set up, where if you hit the wrong thing, it's gonna buzz and set off a whole wrong version. And it's essentially like her map of how she pokes holes and changes the games and of the universe without fucking things up too badly for anybody else. Still her fun. So she takes one piece and slides it very carefully into place and just slots it right into place, right where the brain would be. And she's going to, in that sense, give a little aid to the non-slimy Evie, since she seems the most strategic of the bunch.
Roll me 2d6.
Oh, right. I got the past 2 weeks, I got used to using physical dice again. It was so nice.
A mixed success.
Okay.
Calder. As Calder chomps down on some fresh game provided to her.
Like rabbit pizza.
Luna, no!
I know, I was like, rabbit pizza!
Rabbit season.
Duck season 5.
Calder season.
Calder looks at the board. I think she's like, I don't. As much as I would just prefer for them to hit this thing hard, I just don't think that's gonna be enough. It's not gonna be enough just to stop them where they're at. They need to be able to push them back, and if they can't undo the rot somehow, then they ain't got any kind of chance. I wonder if there ain't some way to, I don't know, infect it with something positive, whether that's divine energy or like a font of nature of some sort.
Like a countermeasure.
Well, for speaking of
Sort of.
countermeasures, the Astral Hearts.
Like a healing.
Here's a thought. A lot of this seems to be out to this Dr. Teletio or some such. Seems to be a big troublemaker at the heart of it. But that's just the Teletio, I think, from one of these 2 universes that we've directly interacted with, right? Or something?
I don't know.
I
Could
mean,
there be
consulting my notes on various universes, he seems to be kind of an asshole all around.
I mean, if multiversal messery is causing all these problems, perhaps that's the solution as well. Perhaps there's a Teletio out there who is like that we can borrow.
Ooh, take him and plop him in this one?
Yes, it would be an unexpected counter to the one messiness that we've got going on here.
Are there still any other universes left besides this one?
I have no way of knowing
No
that.
one?
What would a good Tolatio look like? Evie, you're doing a wonderful job. I'm so proud of you.
Wouldn't that universe be evil? Even the more evil Evie, like, I hate you, Dad.
The thing is, there probably wouldn't even be an Eevee because he would have just stuck around to help raise Vim.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh,
Wow.
No, Vim
I don't
wouldn't.
know. In this other in this
other
alternate
world,
good guy,
in this
Teletio, he
in this
makes them
alternate
a
universe,
sibling
good
on
guy.
purpose.
Even better for okay, not even better, but another idea. Just because I love this idea, they tried to make Vim a dog, and they made a person. And they were like, "Oh, you have a sibling now." Oops. Interesting.
Yeah,
Apparently,
thinking-
when you add sugar, spice, and everything nice, with a little bit of
in
chemical
another
X.
universe, I don't think there would have been like a 13th version of the third experiment.
No, it would have just been one. She would have just been Evi. No,
That wouldn't even be Eevee. It would be a
Ivy.
different creature completely.
Ivi.
If okay.
British version of.
Well, can Calder, with her like relatively expansive knowledge of nature and survival, maybe tap into that part of her that does know how to heal
Mm-hmm.
instead of do violence about it? And maybe, I don't know, find some sort of way to undo
The corruption of the
the blight.
Calistigian.
Yeah.
to undo the creeping Calistigian order. Yes, roll me 2d6, Calder.
Sure. Oh, well, that's a 5.
So
Can I use my hero point on?
I will let you use your hero point on it if you want.
So instead of cauterizing the leg, you chop
we
it
go,
off,
that's a
make a
9.
tourniquet.
9.
Oh, boy.
So that is a mixed success. Calder, you will ruminate on that for a little bit. Success. Perfect. Also, I have notated all of these down, and they will be affecting the campaign going forward.
Uh-oh.
Man, I
Evie's
kind of
got
assumed.
touched now.
Ko, could you also roll me 2d6?
What am I rolling about?
Although, because you're not technically a god, you have a minus. No, I'm just kidding.
That would be fair.
Only 1d6.
I made my choice, and I need to sit in them.
Yeah,
But
Ko's basically Goku at this point. It's fine. A mixed
that
success.
is hilarious. I got my favorite number.
Again.
Man.
Weeks in a row.
What? That's getting
Yeah.
spooky.
Well, it is spooky season.
Well, you see, 8 is just
is spooky
infinity
season.
on its... 8 is just infinity standing up.
Boo.
Okay, Will.
Nacho, no.
What?
It's not good for cats.
It is.
I
It
don't know.
is.
What?
Infinity standing up. That was me being deep
Amazing.
and philosophical.
Oh, neighbors are yelling.
Rose, are you drawing from the Fate Tarot deck?
Yes.
Okay, I was just curious. What's Emiya?
Enya?
Yeah.
What is Archer?
Because he's got
No, this one only has the major
Arcana.
arcana.
Okay.
I don't know what
So-
Gilgamesh is.
Something funny, I bet.
Oh, Gil I passed. Gil's here. Gil's the emperor.
That
Oh,
makes
of course he
sense,
is. Of course he is.
yeah. But yes.
Is Enya not in this?
Okay. Out of curiosity, Will, like, what does the role for Code signify? Just her helping with the planning? Like,
Well, specifically, efforts to possibly find a good Teldatio.
okay.
If that's,
If that's what you
Yeah.
would like. If not, we can change it to what you...
especially considering that we did just learn that like there is not more multiverses.
Yeah.
According to Amberlin and
Okay.
Adenia.
The only other thing I would want to maybe focus on is going back to my idea of in the right time. Ko would like to gather any intelligence on the Custodian Order's activities that the others have and sort of like look for a weak link in their scheme. Like, not every scheme has redundancies and is foolproof, and there's one moment where, okay, for our evil scheme, this flash drive has to be taken by a courier across this thing, and for once, the flash drive is just being protected by the crew of one
Yes,
ship.
the Rogue One
and-
approach.
There's a weak link.
You are the weakest link.
We must get these plans to the bunny paladin.
I can confirm that Shiro's not in here, but Kiara is.
Oh no.
That has a
She's
different
beloved.
meaning to
Of
the Monday night
course it
campaign.
is.
Ready. And of course, the moon is Archimid.
I'm surprised she's in that at all, because that I think was made well before she was even in.
Yeah, no,
Hmm.
she's here.
Hi, Kiara.
Very prescient of them
Oh
when
no,
they made that
Kiara
deck.
is
Oh. Is Kiara safe for
not
Twitch?
to derail us completely.
Is Kiara safe for Twitch? Oh, that's surprising. Oh, that's nice.
She's just the demonic
Pretty.
bodhisattva. She's the Buddhist Antichrist.
Hot.
She is.
I mean,
So,
she would
like Salieri
say
and Mozart both made it in here.
Salieri is a 3-star.
Yeah.
I mean,
and Mozart's what, like a
Yeah, he's like a
to be fair,
1-star?
Mozart did drop a new
Mozart's
single
was-
recently.
he did. Now it's
Still
got Moriarty and
royalty.
Oh
Seth
no,
Salieri's
realize that
death,
Judith is a
and-
hostage right now.
I mean,
It's like as you're all
We're
like
all sitting
eating
around
snacks,
yapping
we're
catching
looking
about
up.
at
some
divine
fucking
tarot
cards.
decks. You can't
Yeah,
say you're not
I'm looking.
interested.
I'm like, ooh.
I can. I
They're
can
very
say that.
pretty.
I can say that.
Oh, God.
What was that?
Something exploded outside, and all of the car alarms are going off, and I felt it. I'm assuming I
Fireworks?
don't know.
I'm assuming it's
kinda
fireworks.
assuming. Could you hear that, Maya? Because you live not that far from me.
I didn't hear anything, but I have heard like a bunch of people like screaming and whooping from the streets. I'm assuming it's not the baseball game because the baseball game's still going. So I'm
Yeah,
assuming
the-
it's a
Maybe
football
they'll
game
peek
or
out
something.
You know,
Just give me
those
a sec.
traditional October 25th fireworks.
We have 3 major sporting events going on right now.
Oh,
so if
boy.
anyone
At the same
of our
time.
home team won of those 3 major sporting events,
We win. Sorry.
probably if they're lighting off fireworks on the street.
The game's not over yet. They're at
Maybe
bottom of the
before.
10th right now. It's almost over. I
Well,
don't
didn't McKenna
think
say
it's
there were
over yet.
multiple games?
Are
Yeah,
we winning?
ever since HoloLive started helping out the Dodgers, they've gotten a lot more rowdy.
Right
What a
now,
time! What a timeline in.
right now, live is showing Yankees 3, Dodgers 2, which
Oh,
boo.
Yankees.
Are you winning, LA?
No.
People
Not
are fucking
currently.
stupid. Somebody set up a firework in their apartment across the street. You can
That's
literally
very
see.
dangerous.
Yes, somebody set up a firework inside of their apartment.
Will, can
That's-
that count as my mixed success?
That seems strangely American.
That's got big, it's cold
got big
outside.
marks.
I'm gonna wheel my charcoal grill into my living room vibes.
Okay.
Woof.
I am. It's
Oh,
cold outside.
that
I'm
scared
regretting
the
my
shit
decision.
out of me.
I'm regretting my
Yeah.
decision to leave my hoodie with Emily
It's just
tonight.
making me
Felt
think of
that.
it's just making me think of Mary and Pippin setting the firework off in the wagon.
At least that was whimsical.
Yes, and that was a welcome addition.
Technically,
Looking
it was
at you
still
Hobbit
outside.
movies.
It's still outside.
Yeah, technically.
Anyway.
Yes. Anyway, back to God business.
Judith is kidnapped currently. Yes, that is true.
Mm-hmm.
But you
Oh,
found
well,
her.
now that's the urgency is a little more understood now because I don't think that was mentioned during this meeting. No?
You're welcome. Can we do something about that besides sending in, I don't know, this ragtag group of something?
I think that's what we can do is send in the ragtag group. Just send them in with a bunch of firepower and knowledge. Knowledge
mean,
helps.
Your followers, at least the one of the ones that you've selected to help with Airless's brood, seem to be pretty trusting of them.
Well, I could
Yeah,
direct
you know.
people that way. I don't think they're gonna get there before this group would be there.
They
I've
can't
had
get there hardly at all because they can't pass through that freaking goo wall that they got up going.
Oh, well, there you go. Why don't we just poke a hole in the goo for them?
Well, it's funny you should say that. Our end has taken care of that a little bit. The spark, the matrix I had created for sort of creation.
yes.
Yes,
Um,
that thing that we all know that you did, Amaryllin. You don't have to
yes.
explain it to us.
It's okay,
nice.
dear. I know you're very proud.
I
Don't
sent.
pause-
We've been doing
don't-
it for a million years.
Don't
It
pause
was-
for applause.
It was able to send a bit of inspiration towards Darius's way, the cleric, and with that inspiration, they were able to create a machine that would allow them to enter the darkness in their ship. And we have that machine. I can produce them now.
At what
Produce
rate?
the machine.
Yes, I can enable people to enter the darkness
So,
safely.
is this one of those things that, like, it technically you can't do it until someone else does it first in the mortal realm?
Yes.
Is that how that works?
Yes.
That's fascinating. The rules that have
At
to be
a-
followed.
Can this be done at a rate that will be useful on an immediate time frame?
Can you
Not-
scale it up?
In an immediate time frame, not like today, but it can be scaled up, and we could outfit fleets with it. We could outfit ships with it. We could outfit
Gonna
our followers with it.
I mean, scale it up so we just shoot it and punch a big fucking hole in the goo that everyone can go through.
I like that plan.
I
It's-
mean, if the spark is the one giving the instructions, would we in fact make the instructions so that the thing is even more powerful than they intended it to be, and it just blah?
That's literally what I just said, but thank you.
No,
for
I just-
repeating it, Co.
Well, I just mean, like, before they, like, we cut out the middleman, so to speak. We don't wait for them to, like, make a whole bunch of them or make it a bigger one. Just the one that's created now turns out to be even more powerful, and it just starts getting bright. I'm
Unfortunately,
not
that
one with the technical
it wouldn't work all that well in that way. But yes, we could perhaps, if I gathered enough resources quickly and enough crafters, we could create some sort of, and I apologize for the use of the language, but I've been keeping up with relatively common slang, some sort of BFG to punch a hole in the darkness.
Big fuck giant?
Big friendly.
Big friendly
giant?
giant?
Yeah, my brain went big friendly giant.
Big fucking gun.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
you,
Roald
Zolan.
Dahl got to me first.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's an amazing reference. Oh, Rose, your brain is beautiful. I,
I like
What
to
is-
think that the BFG is a deity in this realm somewhere.
I mean, it might be now. Um,
He got
Tanya
eat-
knows
I
him,
just-
apparently.
He was consumed by darkness.
I don't mean to
That's
step on your
rude,
technic-
William. That's rude.
I don't mean to step
Him
on
and
your
the Iron
toes or
Giant
anything.
both.
I don't mean to step on your toes, technically speaking, but I know you've been very particular about this in the past for the project. But would it help if you made this spark able to speak? Like, I know it seems to be able to send inspiration, but
It is a concept, and it is a concept of inspiration. If it were to be able to speak and be able to clearly give it instructions in that manner, it would not poison the well, but it would influence the well more than what
Are you-
just
It
Are you-
wouldn't
versus-
be as pretentious, Co.
Are you trying to tell Amerlin to invent artificial intelligence?
well, no, artificial intelligence, as far as I know, exists. I'm just trying to get this thing to be intelligent beyond just a wellspring of knowledge. Like, I feel like it would solve a lot of efficiency problems. if it-
Unfortunately, when
That's what all
when
pro
we-
AI people say.
Unfortunately, when we gave it intelligence, it stopped actually
Don't
being
make it
helpful and just started doing like terrible artwork.
You know, Amerlin, you could do the god stuff yourself instead of outsourcing it to some esoteric bullshit light bulb.
I personally don't feel as though I am qualified to be a god. Unlike
Ugh,
Ko, who is
Running the
just
matrix. That is God.
unlike Ko, I maintain it. Unlike Ko, who believes himself to want to be a god but doesn't actually want to do any of the effort to get there.
What is this weird, like, passive aggressive nonsense you've been aiming at Co all
Listen,
night?
I've just been-
Okay,
This is so weird,
Is it-
Amerlin.
This is elder abuse.
I agree with
we're
Co.
technically
We're all
in
the same age.
age.
Some of us don't look it, though.
Amerlin looks as old as you, Ko.
well, no, I guess,
No,
I
he
guess,
doesn't.
No,
I
he
guess-
does not.
No? More
I
so.
guess at this point, proportionally, we are. I think, like, when it would matter, I think, Zola might have been a little bit older than some of the rest of the party, but, like, at this point, what are a handful of, like, a decade? You know, what is that?
Yeah. No, exactly. Um, in all seriousness, it does seem as though we have at least a starting point.
And if we send these little things, nudges, and then you have work done to that, then I guess let us know where you would be instructing this to happen so that some of us are people to be ready and waiting
Yes,
to take advantage.
I think it would be easiest if we were to perhaps then gather at the Spark sort of seat of power in the universe, a planet that is particularly devoted to it. Nivarax, home of the Mao.
Oh, those cat people.
Do you have a connection there to make them not panic at what might look like an invasion once mine and Calder's people arrive?
Yes, I have one of the chosen, perhaps from another version of the Spark, but one of the chosen is there.
Okay, because I don't know about Artie's, but I don't think Adenia's followers are going to show up looking like an army. But mine and Calder's might give that a appearance off.
I feel like a lot of Artie, ironically, a lot of Artie's followers are like a smattering, like they're like adolescents who are like figuring out like all kinds, like because it's all kinds of games, like playground games, that kind of thing.
COD, just all of them. All the
Like,
I
games.
feel like it's a lot of kids and then a lot of like gambling addicts.
Yes, it's a lot of kids and then a lot of gamblers. And then there's like a weird sect of just nerds. Just nerds and they're like, I don't know, 30s or 40s, around there.
Artie is probably one of the few divine beings in this like group who has more warlocks than clerics.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they probably have a lot of artificers as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, all right, so I guess that's our plan for the immediate future with the goo wall and the blessings and excuse you, maybe some manner of, I don't know, way to override that blight. I am more than a little concerned that we are about to go into war with no god of war.
Well, maybe not quite as belligerently as
We could
Magoobliet,
outsource it to somebody else.
but combat is in my purview.
Sure. But not war.
Go, you led a war against devils for how long?
Number of millennia.
Now, before you consider it, remember, if you do take it, you won't be able to complain anymore.
You could be war and pettiness. Petty war, even.
I'm
The
kidding.
problem
She's
I
just gonna
have.
complain about how long it took.
No. The problem I have is, and I think this is a subtlety that some of you may have missed because.
The universe is going to explode, or you finish talking. I can see it in the star. Just.
It's not just about war. Magoobliet was a family man. There was a great sense of community involved in his warmongering because, as you see with the goblins, I talked with Magoobliet a few times.
Then who better?
As long as I was.
Oh, if you want to nominate someone else, we can nominate someone else. There's no pressure here if you don't want to do it.
There's a little pressure.
I feel that. I feel that.
Well, there was that one of them, the one of them in the adventuring group, the grandma.
And the goblin, yeah. Keeping it in the family might be
Oh.
an idea.
That's a
The
weird way to say
worshipper?
that.
Is a godling enough?
But we
I mean,
start them small.
Technically, it'd be a 100% increase in their godlings.
Also,
We
it
doubling
ain't,
the number they
it ain't
have.
like we started any different than where she's at.
No,
at the
but we had
moment.
9.
I
That-
mean, she's
I
had
mean-
about as much time as a goblin can possibly have.
Well,
I mean,
I
she lived a full goblin life at least.
Her shit did. You know how many kids she had? I mean, they're dead now.
do we
but-
still
Oh
have
Lord.
the seed?
I will say this. I will say this because I am not old and crotchety enough to ignore, when a need arises. But is this something you need me to do?
If the godling can do it.
If the godling can do it, if that's what you prefer.
Truthfully, Co, I think either you would be fine. But I also think that the way that Magubliet went out is the only way a war god is ever going to go out. And if you don't want to relegate yourself to that kind of fate, I wouldn't blame you. None of us wanted that.
It does seem pretty much 100% contingency on how war gods go out.
In fairness, I don't think there's any other way he'd want to go out. Or
Yeah.
the
Also-
grandma for that matter.
Would the goblin
Seems consistent.
Mm-hmm.
I just worry about the mantle passing to someone who died, wrinkled and old in their bed. How that would look. And actually, for a moment here, looks like a tired old lady.
I think the mantle needs to go to someone who is unfortunately familiar with the ramifications of war. And frankly, I think that does apply to either one of you.
Well,
Just because you outlived most of your cohort doesn't mean you didn't see the effects of it.
I lose that foot.
You sure did.
Survivors
I
count.
made you a new one if you
You've
just
got
use
seniority,
it.
Co, so if you want it, take it.
Having or not having the foot is not really the point, my dear. It was the losing it. It's not important.
It's always going to happen.
If you need me to do this, I will do it, but I am in favor of the other as well. Why don't we put it to a vote? I will abstain, obviously, because I'm not a god, so I don't have any control over it to begin with, so.
Oh, here you go, Calder. Amerlin hands you a fan. A fan, like one of those big
What am I
paper
supposed to do with this?
big paper fans. It just says co fan.
You could also maybe just make the offer. We don't know that
That's fair.
she would want it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fair.
true.
It's a good point.
I know
Like
people
you said,
think
If we
cost
offer
me.
Is
it
it,
to
Maya?
her-
Is it?
But
Offer it to her and she refuses, will you accept it, Co?
That's what you all need me to do. I will step up. Yes. with my-
what do you
What do you want, Co?
God, this is the most Matt a character has ever been.
I'm so deadly serious, Co. What do you want?
nobody's
Not
gonna
the
nobody's gonna
sword god that you used to follow.
nobody's gonna
Not
stab you in the body with
happened to that
a divine
Oh, it's with the party that we've been following.
Of course.
So
not.
that's-
now. I'm
that seems
serious.
oddly coincidental.
Yes.
Enough about the sword. I want to know what Co wants.
I
A
want
nap? A
to
cup of
make-
tea?
I mean, I have both of those in great supply. I want what I always wanted, to make a difference. And if that what is being offered here, I'll do it.
Is it what you want? Ah! Coulter goes back to shooting arrows.
There you go.
I mean, this has been the dynamic center. Why
Artie is just
change?
eating popcorn, watching.
Where did
this
you
happen.
get that?
I just want you to
Oh,
say
did you
what
want
you
some?
want without feeling like you're being forced into it, because you ain't gotta be forced into it. I mean, I guess we
Another
could see-
popcorn bucket appears for Ko.
I guess we could see if the goblin
They
is
get
maybe
stuck in
more
my-
enthusiastic about the concept. Because you just don't. I don't want to relegate you to this amount of responsibility if that's not something you want to do.
So, minor.
Let's just do it to the mortal then. They hardly ever get a say in
Do
these
it to
things
the
anyway.
mortal.
Minor coincidence.
Oh.
Coincidence.
Yes. You had mentioned before, Ko, the divine seed that we had and where it was.
Oh, I didn't mention that. But
Someone had
did.
mentioned
That was
that.
me.
Yes,
Yeah.
Adenia had mentioned that.
You know,
You're
the
wild.
fate god.
And they will bring it up basically because they have it on like a tracker.
Oh.
And you will see it
That's
sitting
my
on a
bad.
shelf on the ship's kitchen, in its sphere.
Oh, right. We did pick that.
Yeah, you picked that up
I
like
forgot
ages
I had
ago. You've had that. You have had that.
Well, because you didn't know what it was. Ken and I looked at each other and we were like,
No, I just picked it up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
From Valindra.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, I forgot about
Tell me
that.
they had that fucking thing on there.
Well, then, I would say that that sounds like fate. Does it not?
You
Yeah,
mean you didn't?
look at
you
that.
didn't put it there?
In my notes, old stone orb, ancient and evil artifact. Parentheses. Rash does not know this.
Evil?
Does not know what
So,
this is.
so what?
This is fate. This is fucking crazy.
No, it's
Does-
fate.
Does that mean then that we have two godly shoes to fill? Pairs of two positions of godhood to fill?
Well,
What's the second one?
Well,
It's
because
shoved in
that's
between
not-
a potion of greater healing and Vim's
'cause
exo
that
skin.
one's not Magoogliat's.
Oh, fuck.
That's a
Well,
good point.
shit.
Because
I
we
don't
were
know
talking.
that matters.
Well, it does if the
Well, hold on.
Calistigian Order manages to harness the energy that was Magooblian.
This be a timey-wimey thing where it was always going to be Magoobliates there, but it wasn't going to be potentially used until after when it's needed?
I don't think so. This was the seed that was Valindra's that she
Okay.
gave up,
Mhm.
and that we. Do you remember when we hid it out in Zolam's pond?
yeah, that planet's long
by the
gone now.
temple.
I shaped that very stone.
As like
Of
an
course you did.
added note, just as a reminder of how these divine seeds work, they don't assign that god's like spot in the pantheon to you necessarily.
Right.
They adapt to the soul and then it creates that
Huh.
spot.
But what
But
I
like
mean though,
Calder was saying,
Just to-
that Magooblian energy is out there somewhere.
Oh yeah, it is.
yeah, there are.
Better to have it not with the Calistigian Order
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
it would be.
Especially
with-
since they seem quite intent on creating war.
So I would.
Right.
I mean, I think one that should be secured. We could offer.
If it
To
hasn't already
this-
been ingested by.
Yes, we could
Again.
offer.
Sitting on the top shelf of the kitchen,
Saldana.
in between a potion of greater healing and Vim's exo skin.
We could inform and offer that to this goblin as a position, and if they choose not to, then what I say, if we're going to steamroll this kindly, we will hand it to Ko, and it'll be Ko's job to either take it or find a suitable person for it.
I mean, at
Here
the
you
moment,
go,
we only
Cole.
have the one other candidate, right?
Not if
Well,
you find someone better.
If they refuse, then it is your job to take it or find a suitable person for it.
And
Them playing the hot potato back and forth with the
I-
seed.
Though, as our dear guide of fate has pointed out, time is sort of an essence here. I will probably say that if our goblin candidate doesn't accept, I will just.
Thank you for joining the conversation like an hour ago. It was my turn. I was the only one that didn't get to be petty
Now-
this entire time. And
now I'm imagining a poster of that just says the goblin candidate, that is like the Manchurian candidate, but with Rash on the poster instead.
Oh
Also,
god.
did Adenia get to roll her blessing?
I did.
Yes.
While you were
Okay, good.
away.
Yes,
I got
Adenia
double
rolled a
sixes.
6 and a 6. I just
Yeah.
straight.
The Sarah
Um,
luck.
Of course.
Sarah luck.
Roseluck.
Rose rolls that.
And I think as this godly meeting comes to an end, we pull away into the darkness, where holding a crystal of black and red energy, an elf, Sildana, holds it in her hand. And as she begins to draw it into herself, you see a number of other crystals, very similar to this, but fully drained, in the background of the ship, as if every god that she has slain in another universe has come to this fate for her. And with that, thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of the Astral Calling.
It's a lot of empty Capri Suns.
Yep. Very messy room. Listen,
I was thinking of
sometimes when people lose their loved ones, they become a little bit messy, and this is the mess. But thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode of the Astral Calling. Join us next time as we jump back to the main party and get to see how they... Well, no, not next time. Join us next week for the Sarah Spooktacular,
Oh, yeah.
where Sarah's running that Halloween one-shot for us. Then the week after, Starship Combat, as our party faces off with Captain Cypress's ship and tries to free some friends. Thank you all so much for coming. Check out our many other shows here on the channel, and guess what? We'll see you all on the next one. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.